Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about easy ways that people lose their money and don't grow their wealth. So let me get the obvious one out of the way here. So if you're misspending your money, obviously you're going to be losing it, right? If you're buying cars, houses, clothes, things that you can't afford, obviously that's going to be how you're going to be losing your money in material things. But let's dive a little bit deeper, and I'm going to talk about two easy ways that people lose their money over the long term. And number one that I want to talk to you about is gambling. So casinos, lotteries, horse racing, all types of gambling, it's literally designed for you to lose. They do not want you to win. They do not want you to hit that jackpot. And gambling is that whole idea of making money from nothing, which can be very destructive. So let's dive a little bit into the statistics of gambling. So let's talk about slot machines. Depending on the slot machine, to win the grand prize or the jackpot, you have odds between 1 in 5,000 and 1 in 34 million. So somewhere in between there are your odds. So if you're pulling that lever 5,000 times, you might expect to win the jackpot. Maybe. Or maybe it could be in 34 million tries, depending on the machine. And on the average lottery, you have about a 1 in 13.9 millionth chance of winning the lottery. And statistically speaking, it's estimated that about 11% of gamblers come out on top in the long term. But the majority of that 11% that are winners in the long term are only up a couple $100. So is it really worth it? And the average yearly loss for gamblers is $55,000. Now that seems like a ton, like, hey, I will never spend that much on gambling in a year. But there are a lot of outliers going into that average, like people losing millions and millions of dollars, and then there's just the people losing hundreds of dollars. So overall, the average is $55,000. And it's estimated that 23 million Americans go into debt because of gambling. So ultimately, it's designed for you to lose. It's not a great way to make money. It's a great way to lose money. And if I haven't convinced you of that, you're probably gonna need to try it for yourself, and I wish the best of luck to you. Now, the second easiest way to lose your money is to not invest it. And this is the biggest way to lose money. Now, when I say don't invest, I mean just collecting money, putting it into a savings or a checking or just your bank account in general. Now, you're probably thinking, well, hey, savings, I get a return every year from my savings account. Yeah, but it's so small, it's not really significant to even consider. So the reason you're losing money when you're not investing it is mainly because of inflation. Now, right now, inflation is above 7%. So the value of your money is decreasing. So the amount of money you have today is not going to be able to buy the same amount of things in the future, 5-10 years down the road. So because of inflation, keeping your money in your bank account is really losing value once it's there. And you should really be investing that money because there are so many benefits to investing, to combat inflation, to make a return on your money, to generate more income. And the sooner you do that, the more you can make. The idea or the power of compounding interest is incredible. So let's dive in and show you a little bit of math behind compounding interest and how investing just a little bit of money can actually make you a lot of money. All right, to illustrate the time value of money or compounding interest, let's use an example here. So let's say that we contribute $100 a month to some sort of investment. Maybe we're throwing that in the stock market or throwing it into bonds or something like that. So $100 a month. And we want to determine the future value of that money in a number of years. So we also need to know the rate of return that we're receiving and the NPER or number of periods that money will be invested for. So let's say that we get about an 8% return annually. And we're going to be investing $100 a month for the next 20 years, let's say. So before we plug that into a future value formula, what we're going to want to do is put these into like terms. So this is $100 a month. We're going to want this rate to also be monthly. So we're just going to take our annual 8% divided by 12 to get a monthly rate of 0.67. And we're going to do the same thing with our number of periods, just times that by 12 to be 240 months. So then we'll do our future value formula with our rate, number of periods, and our payment. and that money will grow to be $58,902. Now, if we were just to take that $100 and throw it into a savings or checking account for those 240 months, then we only end up with $24,000. Because we're investing our money, compounding interest is helping us generate $34,902 more than we would have if we were just simply saving $100 a month without investing it. So the longer you have to invest or contribute money to an investment, the more compounding interest is going to help you out in the long term. So let's say instead of 20 years, we're going to do 40 years. So you can see that we're making an extra $300,000 off of compounding interest rather than saving our money into a checking account. Now, there's other math we could dive into and specifically talk about how that $48,000 we saved in total is going to have less buying power because of inflation and other things, but we won't dive into that today. Just know that compounding interest is really going to benefit you in the long term. But if you think about it or just look at this example, compounding interest is going to make you so much more money. So not investing your money in this scenario, you're missing out on $300,000. So just know that compounding interest is incredibly powerful and investing makes that possible. And so compounding interest is absolutely incredible. And in conclusion, I just have 2 tips for you. Don't gamble and invest your money. And remember that I am not a financial advisor, so this should not be taken as financial advice. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, smash the like button. I appreciate it so much. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.